Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to use the zero product property. What that says is that anytime you have two factors, like x times y, that equals 0, one of them has to be 0. Either x is 0 or y is 0. And the way that looks in these problems would be if you have x times x plus 8 equals 0. So there are two factors here. So the first being x, so I'll set that equal to 0, and the other one being x plus 8, and I will set that equal to 0. That's how you use the zero product property. And then you would use basic algebra to solve for x, which would give us x equals -8. So your two solutions to this one would be x equals 0 and x equals -8. Sometimes you'll get an equation that looks like this. X times x minus 4 equals 0. In this case, no factoring needs to be done. But instead, we're going to use what's called the zero product property. Okay? The ZPP, the zero product property. And what that says is that one of these factors must equal 0. So what I can do is I can set them both equal to 0. So x equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. So this one's already done for us. So one of my answers is 0. Now I need to solve this one here. I'll do x minus 4 equals 0, and the way I solve that is I add 4 to both sides of the equation. That cancels out these, and I have x equals 4. So my two answers are x equals 0 and x equals 4. And I can check that by plugging in x equals 0 first. So we'll do 0 times 0 minus 4 equals 0. So let's check that. 0, and then 0 minus 4 is -4 equals 0. Well, 0 times -4 is 0. So 0 equals 0. Check. That one worked. Now let's try x equals 4. So 4 times 4 minus 4 equals 0. So 4 times, 4 minus 4, that's 0, equals 0. And 4 times 0 equals 0. So 0 equals 0. Check. So I've confirmed that my answers are x equals 4 and x equals 0. So let's say that we have 2x times x plus 5. So for this one, we are going to use the zero product property. Remember that each factor has to be set equal to 0. So we have 2x equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. Here for this 2x equals 0, remember that 2x means 2 times x. So we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division, and I'm going to divide both sides by 2. That will cancel that there, so that x is equal to, well, what's 0 divided by 2? That's 0. So one of my answers is x equals 0. Here, I have x plus 5 equals 0, so I will subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. That cancels those 5s, so x equals -5. So my answers are x equals 0 and x equals -5. So now we need to check it. So we're going to check x equals 0 first. So I'll plug that in to the original equation. So it's 2 times 0 times 0 plus 5 equals 0. Well, 2 times 0 is 0 times 0 plus 5 is 5 equals 0. 0 times 5 is 0. So 0 equals 0. Let's try x equals -5. Well, 2 times -5 times negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. Well, 2 times negative 5 is negative 10 times negative 5 plus 5 is 0 equals 0. Well, negative 10 times 0 is 0. 0 equals 0. So negative 5 worked and 0 worked. Check. So our answers are x equals 0 and x equals negative 5. So here's another set of parentheses. If I have x plus 3 times x minus 4 equals 0. Remember, the zero product property is going to tell us that we need to set each parenthesis equal to 0. So I have x plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. Well, we're going to solve for x in each one. So I'll subtract 3 here, subtract 3 here. X equals negative 3. And on the second one, I will add 4 on both sides of the equation. And remember, we're going to cancel that. Probably should have canceled these over here too. And I have x equals 4. So my two solutions are x equals 3 and x equals 4. So now I'm going to check those. Let's try x equals negative 3 first. So I have negative 3 plus 3 times negative 3 minus 4 equals 0. Well, negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Times negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7 equals 0. 0 times negative 7 is 0. So 0 equals 0. Next, let's try x equals 4. So 4 plus 3 times 3, 4 minus 4 equals 0. 4 plus 4 is 7. 4 minus 4 is 0. Well, 7 times 0 is 0. 0 equals 0. So that works. That works. So our answers are x equals 4 and x equals negative 3. And that's how you use the zero product property. So let's use the zero product property to solve this equation, okay? So remember, each of my factors, so here's one of them, and here's the other, needs to be set equal to 0. So that's 2x minus 4 equals 0, and the other one will be 3x plus 9 equals 0. So what I'll do is on the first one, I will add 4 to both sides of the equation. Those 4's cancel, and I'm left with 2x equals 4. I will divide both sides by 2, and x equals 2. On the second equation, I will subtract 9 from both sides first, and I will cancel those 9's. I'm left with 3x equals negative 9. So I'll divide them both by 3, and x equals negative 3. So now I will check my solutions. First, we'll try x equals 2. So that'll be 2 times 2 minus 4 times 3 times 2 plus 9 equals 0. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 here, and over here I have 6 plus 9 equals 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 times 15 equals 0. So 2 works. So that's a good one. Now let's try x equals negative 3. So I will plug in 2 times negative 3 minus 4 times 3 times negative 3 plus 9 equals 0. Well, this is negative 6 minus 4 and negative 9 plus 9 equals 0. So this is negative 10 times 0 equals 0. Well, 0 equals 0. Check. So our answers are 2 and negative 3. And that's how you use the zero product property to solve equations.